This one is not for the beginners. What does Sivan Bomar used to say, and probably still does, that this is for the adepts. For adepts only. This one is for adepts only. This one's not beginners. This one's going to go a little deep.
Over the last 6 months, I've been working on a model of what the universe could look like from a geocentric point of view. Obviously, we've got the mainstream point of view, which is obviously very wrong in many ways, and possibly right in other ways as well, which I'm going to try and prove today. But the ancients, quite obviously, knew a lot more than we know today about these truths. So I used a method that I learned off Santos, the method of syncretism, to try and connect the dots and come up with a cohesive, geocentric universe that makes sense, at least. Of course, we'll never know the truth, the whole truth, naturally, in this state of consciousness. But I think we can certainly get as close to it as possible through syncretism and other means as well.
Okay, so this first part is just going to be reading from where we left off in Alice A. Bailey's Esoteric Psychology Part 1, and reading along on the publisher's website. I'm going to share the screen now and get started. All right, let's do. All right, so we just finished off learning about the rays, right, in the last videos. So finishing off with those 6 aphorisms and the qualities, we're continuing right here. Thus, we have studied a little the work of the 7 rays. The teaching has had to be conveyed symbolically, and its understanding necessitates an awakened esoteric sense. To comprehend it all is not as yet possible. The Chohans of the 6th initiation have the guidance of those units of consciousness in whom their particular ray vibration and color predominate. The vast importance of this fact is often overlooked, even when theoretically acknowledged by aspirants to initiation. Hence the importance of determining the ray of the ego and of the monad, something of vital moment after the 3rd initiation. All right, pausing here because it tells us that something's important and it's overlooked. So that's where we're going to stop. And we're going to say first, what are the Chohans? Chohans are defined as, this one give me a definition? No definition, so I'll have to search. Pop over to the side here. Chohan in Tibetan comes from Chos, choose, law, dharma, and Han, Lord. So the Lord of Dharma. In the Mahatma letters, the Chohan is the title usually given to superiors among the masters of the Great White Lodge, whose chief is called the Mahachohan. So the Mahachohan is the most experienced, the leader of the Chohans. And so these are those who are the lords of Dharma. And Dharma is our rule or our laws. So continuing on, so the Chohans of the 6th initiation. What are the initiations? So we're learning that the 6th initiation is the Chohan. So the 6th initiation is the initiation of the Chohan. It's the one where you officially become an ascended master. And looking at what these initiations are, because I think that's where I got like a better, simpler, I should say, definition. Let's do some basic Wikipedia stuff. That's all we need right now. Drop this down here. Check this out. I think this is it. So finding out what is initiation. Initiation is a concept in theosophy in which human beings are said to pass through different stages or gateways of spiritual development. So initiation is a gateway of spiritual development. Chohans have gone through 6 of those gateways of spiritual development and have ascended to the level of master. So those who have done that have the guidance of those units of consciousness, and that's what each of us are. We are a unit of consciousness, or we hold a unit of consciousness in this vehicle body, and we are guided by the Chohans of the 6th initiation.
Of course, we'll never know the truth, the whole truth, naturally, in this state of consciousness. But I think we can certainly get as close to it as possible through syncretism and other means as well. So that's what I've done. I've syncretized mainly 4 avenues. I've syncretized Vedic scriptures, Kemetic Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, a bit of the Bible, and a bit of the science we're taught today, mainstream science. There's a lot of truth in there. We just have to be able to decipher what they're telling us, but they are telling us quite a few truths, which I think might be a bit controversial in the flat earth community, but I'm sure my argument is going to be quite compelling, hopefully.
It's going to be a deep dive, though. Warning.
Been told, or you know, that it's on the planets, it's on the lands beyond. Okay, so this is really important, really important. I need to explain this. The ages. Okay, so the Indians talk about the 4 ages. Okay, the Kali Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, the Treta Yuga, and the Satya Yuga, right? The iron, the bronze, the silver, and the golden age. These are ages of consciousness, okay? These ages are determined by many things. They're determined by the constellations above us, right? In Greek mythology, these would be the gods. Everything above in these realms, these are the gods and goddesses that look after us, the big brothers and big sisters, okay? The suns and the moons that revolve around us, these were called the Olympians. These are the demigods that look after us subconsciously, okay? They determine the ages. And we, on the earth, on the Bhumandala, we are all the titans, okay? The soldiers that are living out the whole script of the whole thing. So all of this is a stage, okay? We are on the main stage. We are we're on the stage of creation, on the Bhumandala, okay? And these are the directors, if you want to think of it in movie terms. These are the ones directing the scripts and the programs, right? There is free will, I'm saying that, but don't think that we don't have free will. We do have free will, but on a grand scheme, there is a script within that narrative. Otherwise, you'd just be crazy to be chaotic. There has to be a cycle, there has to be order to all of this. None of this is just random and chaotic. There's an order, there's a cycle, there's a system to all of it, okay? Right, next, I want to talk about reincarnation and the cycle of life, okay? So this is now more metaphysical, okay? I can't prove any of this. I'm not saying it's absolutely true, but this is my understanding and perspective based on what I've researched and what I feel, my knowledge, and you know, it could be wrong. If people can correct me, that's fine. If people resonate with it, great. If you don't, that's okay too, okay? So remember earlier on I said that we're all stars. Everything is a star, and we are all reflections of God, every single one of us. Everything that is conscious is a fragment of the whole being Brahma at the top, okay? God. So we are drops in the ocean of consciousness, okay? So in the beginning was the Holy Trinity at the top, okay? And they birthed many, many souls, including you and me right now, okay? We are souls birthed out of the whole, out of God. It tells us in the Bible, God breathed air into Adam, right? So that air is consciousness, okay? That is what consciousness is. The Holy Spirit, that is what we are. We are Holy Spirits. Everything is a star. All is a tune. All is a moon, as Santos always says. So this is where we were. Remember, we're talking about the different realms, the 14 different realms that the Vedics talk about, okay? And this is where the cycle of life happens, and this is how the cycle of life happens. So first, you're one with the whole. You are there born or created as a soul, individual soul. You then become a fallen angel. So you experience independentness for the first time in this top realm, which is... let me get this correct, okay? Which is the Tapaloka in Vedic cosmology. This is where you've experienced your first life as a single soul, as an individual soul, right? You then go into the Yanaloka, right? You become a fallen angel again, right? You then go into the Mahaloka, you're a fallen angel again, and all this time you're falling in consciousness as well, okay? So the further you are from source, the further down your consciousness is falling, okay? Right? And up here, you're still in the heavens. You're still an angel, but you're becoming a fallen angel, like it says in the Bible, okay? Once you leave the Mahaloka, the stars, once you leave the skies, you're no longer an angel now. You're now in time. This is where time comes in. Chronos, Saturn, Father Time, Sine Suru, Father Time. This is the first place you incarnate into. You incarnate into the planet Saturn. You then become a demigod, right? As the Greeks put it, right? You're now influencing, yeah? You're now a director, you know, of the Titans. We are the Titans on Earth, okay? So you do your time in there. You then reincarnate down to the next sun, which is Mars, okay? You're now influencing the beings on those lands where Mars is. And then you incarnate into the next one, which is our sun, Apollo. You're influencing the beings where we are. So right now in the sun, there are beings that are influencing us. So you hear this movement about people saying, I'm sun gazing. Okay, I look up in the sun and I sun gaze and I meditate and whatever. That's because you're communicating with the beings right now, the souls in the sun, subconsciously. That is what prayer is. That is what meditation is. You are trying to connect with souls in all these other realms, mainly in the suns. Okay? From the sun, your next incarnation is into Buddha, Emerald, into Mercury. Okay? You're now a messenger. Okay? You're getting ready to deliver the message from the demigods to the Titans. Okay? At this point, you're now maybe at 65% consciousness. Okay? You're now ready to descend into the physical, right? And once you're in the physical, this is when you forget now. This is where we will now have the amnesia, because now you're on the stage of creation. You're now truly an actor, acting out the directives and the ages and everything else. You're now experiencing your own simulation, as well as the collective one of wherever you are. So your first incarnation is into Shambhala, Eden. This is where you first become a fallen angel. You do your time in there, right? And after a while, you either reincarnate or sometimes physically, depending on the ages, but mostly you reincarnate into where we are, okay? And you now become a human being like we are now, okay? So these elites that are ruling us, these are fallen angels, and I think some of them are also beings from the underworld that are influencing us at the moment in the dark age for now. So these fallen angels, some of these elites that are ruling us, okay, this is why they've been a lot more intelligent than most of us for a while, okay, because they're fallen angels. They're coming from the center going outwards, okay, right? And we are going the other way, but the scales are balancing, right? We're getting to a stage where we're going to be balancing the scales very soon. Well, we are already. We're catching up. They are falling in consciousness. We are rising in consciousness, the rest of us, most of us, the good ones. Okay? So once you've done your time here, you reincarnate many times through the moon.
Okay. Let's pause. Let's check in. Are we tracking? Is it making sense? Are we on track? Or are we triggered? I invite you once again to check our premises. We don't have to take in anything that we're not here to receive. We're analysts, we're philosophers, we are infinitely intelligent human beings. And what purpose could we have? What could we doing? What could we be doing right now in this very moment that could be better than exploring our existence, learning about who we are, discovering what we didn't know yesterday, or dispelling myths that could help us better understand our tomorrow. Not judging which side is which right now, that's not necessarily our work, but just the exercise of thinking on who we are from a larger lens than just the media, the violence, the chaos. Bringing it back to center, bringing it back to us and our work, which is to decide what we do here. I encourage you, if you're triggered, to try and hang on. I'm going to play the little check our premises slide and see if we can jump back in. A little ditty, that little music that resets us, and we'll jump back in and listen to the rest of what he has to say. I find it truly fascinating. Hang on, here we go.
Okay, the moons are processing centers or reincarnation realms where when your soul dies, you go into the moons, you assess yourself. No one judges you. You're not judged by anyone. You assess yourself and you come back and you work out your karma or whatever you need to work out. Because remember, the meaning of life is birth, experience, growth, and move on. So if you haven't learnt enough and you haven't grown enough, you must come back down and play again. Work out your karma and learn as much as you can before you can move on to the next stage. Okay? These beings, because they're fallen angels, okay, they automatically will be drawn to the worlds outside. Okay? Because they're going outwards and downwards. This is why these elites, right, the governments, they're obsessed with going to Mars, the outer lands. They're going outwards. Okay? They're on their way out and down. Right? Right? These worlds are not necessarily hellish, as in hell. I don't think so. But I think they are disconnected from nature and from source. There's a difference between intelligence and intellect. So there might be a lot of intellect out here, technology, cities with amazing technology out here, but not so much knowledge, gnosis, okay? They're disconnected from nature and from things of transcendental things, spiritual things. Everything out here is very artificial, which is what you're seeing at the moment. They're preparing us. Everything is becoming very artificial. Robots, food, money, everything is becoming more and more artificial. Okay, there's this big AI movement happening at the moment. So the beings on the way down are attracted to these things, these artificial things. Okay, I'm not saying it's evil. I'm just saying that is your soul path or their soul paths. And then after that, your next stage will be the outer lands. Okay, Muspelem, the fire giants, whatever that means according to the Norse. After that, 40%, you're now in inner earth. You're now a reptilian, so to speak, inside the first part of the Bhumandala. Okay? I think the underside of the Bhumandala, I don't think this is a physical place you can go. This is where you will reincarnate as a spirit again. You're now a spirit. You don't have a physical body, but you're a dark spirit now. Okay? Now you're a devil. You're a Shiva. You're a destroyer. Up here, you're a creator. Down here, you're a destroyer. So you are trying to gravitate people, right? You're influencing people up here as well, subconsciously, right? When they say that the devil is influencing you, these are the beings, the beings out in these worlds down here, trying to subconsciously influence you. All your bad thoughts, all your negative thoughts are coming from the frequencies from these beings under here. You then get to 30%, 25%, 20%, 15%, 10%. There's hardly any light left in you. Okay? You're now truly, a fallen angel in the truest sense of the word. okay? But then you work your way back up again. Once you're down here, right, the cycle of life, you can't be here forever. You've got to come back up again. But this is all happening over millions or thousands of years or whatever, okay? You then come back up again, 15, you are ascending. You're now becoming a shooting star. You're shooting back upwards, okay? You go through all the different rounds again, the reverse. You're here, then you're here, and then you incarnate where we are, okay? And then you get to the center. So those of us who are being drawn to goodness, to love, to truth, right? Those of us who are trying to change things for the better, okay? We are shooting stars. We are ascending, right? On the cycle of life. We're on our way up. And we're meeting in the middle with those descending. So you've got the good guys and the bad guys. And this is necessary for the cycle of life. This is duality. This is polarity. Good and bad. It has to happen. Fallen angels and shooting stars. Okay? Now remember, I put the suns on this side and the moons on this side. I did that deliberately. Okay? Except for that one. That one is a sun and the moon. Okay? So when you're ascending, when you're way out, the moons, the mothers, are portals out. The suns are gateways in. So those descending come through the sun. Those ascending go through the moon. Okay? Males inseminate. Females give birth. Okay? If you can see, this looks like a brain, the cosmic egg, with the center, right? You've got the left-hand path, male principles, right-hand path, female principles. Okay? This is where all that esoteric stuff comes in. For those who are not afraid to research that and to try and understand it. Okay?
We are guided by the Chohans of the sixth initiation. Not just all of them, particular ones. Those in whom our particular ray, vibration, and color predominate. So that's why we're learning the rays, because we all have dominant rays. Whatever dominant rays affect us, that's what we're influenced by, and that influence is coming from our relationship or rapport with the Chohans or the masters who have taken the sixth level of initiation into spiritual development. This process is largely hidden while being under the auspices of the beings that guide this planet, the masters of wisdom. Ooh, intense. I think if I went down here, it gave me like some clickables to actually go through what the different initiations are from first through, I think it goes to the 10th. So that was interesting. And then just like it says, the first initiation is the baptism. Sorry, the birth into the spiritual life is the first initiation, then the baptism, the transfiguration, the crucifixion, the resurrection, and the ascension into masterhood. Again, the sixth initiation is when you become a master. Seventh, bodhisattva, avatar, or Christhood. Eighth is Buddhahood. Ninth is Godhood. And 10th is the silent watcher. And then it says there's actually levels beyond the 10th. It gives a summary of pages. This is really fascinating to read. But going on here, the reason why this is vastly important is because that's who we are being influenced by. So what does it tell us to do? We should determine the rays of our ego and our monad, the inner one specific to us, our unity consciousness, our consciousness that is the one incarnate through us uniquely. What ray is it influenced by? And what is our ego? Combination of our personality, our body, mind, spirit, physical, all these things, and our higher mind merged with our lower mind, the soul, embodied in this physical vessel. What ray is it infused by? That's who we're going to be learning from. That's the Chohans that we're going to be learning from. And if we click on this sixth initiation over here on the side, it tells us the Chohans, the lords of the seven rays. Master Moria is the lord of the first ray. Master Kutumi is the lord of the second. Paul the Venetian, the lord of the third ray. Serapis Bey is the lord of the fourth ray. Master Hilarion, fifth ray. Master Jesus, sixth ray. And Master, I don't know how to say that, Rakosi is the seventh ray. coordinated by Joel Kuhl or Master DK. They're all said to be at the level of the 6th initiation. The Lords of the Rays. That's who governs the goings on of this cycle, these cycles that we're in. So continuing on, a majority, okay, so it's going to be super important. It says for us to learn the ray of our ego and of a monad, something a vital moment after the 3rd initiation. What's going on at the 3rd initiation? The transfiguration is happening. In the Buddhist tradition, the 3rd initiation is referred to as anagami, the point where you cannot return, the point of no return, where you cannot come back. Like we say, when you learn something when you're awakening, you're like, once you're awake, you can't go back to the way you were when you were asleep. You can't unsee the things that you see, the dots that you start to connect in understanding the unity of all things and that the deeper meaning of all things and all that good stuff. You can't just go back to a state of not recognizing patterns and seeing synchronicities and messages. Anyways, the chief task of the initiate approaching this portal, which is the 3rd initiation, is acquiring the ability to observe the workings and content of the mind on a moment-to-moment basis. We're working to control our mind, our thoughts, so that we can come into rapport with our soul and we can be embodied by our soul instead of just walking around like empty vessels. There has to be a connection that's made, and that's what this first section, this book is learning, is this first section is asking the question, what's the goal of the soul? What's the purpose of it? What's its plan? That's to imbue the divine. We're learning about the 7 rays as part of the plan. And then it's going to say, okay, well, how can we prove that? How can we prove that the soul exists? And that's the section that we're going into next. But right now, our chief task is to observe the content of our minds on a moment-to-moment basis. One method of acquiring such a heightened state of awareness and self-control is through meditation. Meditation is important also because it deepens the disciple's relationship with one's own soul. Alice Bailey provides precise tutelage about the nature and method of meditating. And there is a nature to it and a method to it. And I'm not a master of it. I still need to get into that, but it is part of the 3rd initiation, that getting into rapport with one's soul, connecting on a deeper level. The reason why it's not to be kind of tribal with is because when you're accessing that, you're calling for a connection, we want to make sure that our vessel is clean or pure, and that we are calling on the energies that are who we want to be calling on. We're connecting with, just like through prayer, we're focusing on who we want to be on the other end of that receiver. Because as you expand in consciousness, as you wake up, you realize, hey, I can get in rapport with a trickster energy, spirit, someone whose spirit or energy wants to deceive, distort, and cause delays. Or you can be with the one who wants to be the source of your development and your growth, which is the one who is meant to connect with you, the soul. And getting into process and getting control of our mind and getting prepared for that connection is what can help you be more confident when you're connecting it through meditation and such, or through whatever mediums that you use, tarot cards, prayer, however you connect with the unseen. Let me close this over here and read that again. Let me see if I can. Continue on right here, starting over. A majority and a minority always exist in every department of life. So it is in the work of the Logos. For at the end of the greater cycle, Manvantara, the majority will find their way to the synthetic love ray. A small minority will find their way to the power ray. This minority are destined for an important function. They will constitute the nucleus, which in the next solar system will constitute the majority, finding their synthesis on ray 1. This is a great mystery and not easily understood. Some hint towards the solution will be found hidden in the real meaning of the words exoteric and esoteric. And a way I have to try to figure that out was I'm putting together this PowerPoint. And I'm hoping, as I'm doing it, I'm hoping that it illustrates for me mentally kind of to walk through what this means. Let me see if I can share some of that. Kind of starting with that quote, because I really like it from the chapter. This is a great mystery and not easily understood. A hint towards its solution will be found hidden in the real meaning of the words exoteric and esoteric. And if you take exoteric, that means from, or exo is from the outer, and esoteric is understood by like very few. Exoteric is the majority, understandable by the masses, and esoteric is only understood by a select few. There goes the gardener out there right now. That's so funny too. So the weed whacker at 7:34 p.m. and it's been completely quiet all day. Hello. Hello. Forgive the sudden wardrobe change. This is a different day. I recorded as much as I could the other night and it was just like madness. It was super loud. People were running their lawnmowers, racing cars, and I was super distracted and I was sleepy. So I'm also sleepy tonight, but we're gonna just keep going and see if this is gonna be mixed and remastered with some like editing magic. So hopefully it's not too distracting and hopefully we get through this section, which is actually very illuminating. Reading this section for me kind of launched into this whole other project that I'm doing, a study of the ages, and you'll see.